Welcome back inside the janitor's closet, folks. It's week 2 of the NFL season. Last year, probably scratched an itch for a lot of people. Not our best week. A lot of weird plays, a lot of very close plays. We had to go back into the film room, check out a few things, see it to believe it kind of thing. Nonetheless, we're back here with 4 plays and a new feature coming to the janitor's closet here, Josh. We'll get into that to close out our show, but a little something to keep the folks around here as we're going to be incorporating a parlay into the end of today's show. But we have 4 best bets for week 2 from the man himself, TJC's football expert here, Josh Frey-Sam. Josh, how are you doing after week 1? A little bit of a weird one, but a lot to look forward to in here week 2.
Yeah, really weird one, man. We had like half of the touchdown passes in week one that we normally see. So that pretty much says all you need to say. If you are a fantasy player, you probably felt that on your fantasy lineup. And if you're better like we are, yeah, you probably also were left scratching your head a little bit at a couple of bets. But like you mentioned, check the tape. We watched back all the games this week and got a better feel for what was kind of happening. And so feeling a lot more confident. Week one is always a weird one, man. So if you do well in week one, the thing with week one is like it's always full of lies. So it's like, you see one team that's, like the Saints, see the Saints offense. The Saints offense isn't that good. They put up 40 plus. They're going to be brought down to earth again this week. I can promise you that. So those are just kind of things like that. But we checked the tape. We're feeling good. Ready to get back into it for week 2 here. Stick with us, folks.
Yeah, they call it Overreaction Monday for a reason, but we're not going to dwell on the past. We're getting right into our week 2 best bets. But before we do, folks, if you want to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below. We greatly appreciate your support during the NFL season as we get kicked off here. And feel free to follow us on Twitter or X at TJC Bets. We're recording this on Thursday. Not sure if you're seeing this on Thursday or Friday, but we do have a play in the Bills-Dolphins game that's going up tonight. Which those who are following us on X have seen and are tailing at this point. So always good to follow us there and see what kind of bets Josh is coming up with on the fly there. Without further ado, Josh, let's get right into this slate. We have 4 plays for week 2.
All right, let's start over there in Green Bay, Wisconsin with my Green Bay Packers, Bryce. We're going to go Indianapolis Colts at the Green Bay Packers. First play of the day is the first half under 20.5. We're taking that for 1 unit. Listen, there's a lot of ways to look at this game because, we should actually start by saying there is a very marginal chance that Jordan Love does in fact play in this game. I am 99.999% sure he will not. Just doesn't really make sense. But let's just throw that out there. And if it is the case, more reason to follow us on X at TJC Bets to let you guys know whether or not we're going to be pulling the play, which I can say with confidence if Jordan Love does play, we probably will be pulling this play. Anyways, as it stands right now, we're rolling with the assumption that Malik Willis is playing. And on the Green Bay offense side of things, Bryce, I've watched Malik Willis now for a couple of years over there at the Titans. The Packers offense to put up points in this game, I actually don't even mind the spread here. I think Green Bay's spread got up to 3.5 here. I don't even hate it if you're taking that Green Bay on that. I think there is a chance Green Bay can steal this one at home. Always going to be optimistic in that. But the reason why we're taking the first half under in this one is Green Bay's offense is going to need some help if they're going to put up points. And by help, by that I mean Green Bay's defense is going to have to, to create some turnovers there, leave Malik Willis and that offense with some short fields. You also look at it with the Green Bay side of things. I think this clock is going to be running a lot in this game. Indianapolis Colts want to run the football. Green Bay also, I think they just saw what Houston did to Indianapolis and Joe Mixon running the ball 30 plus times for like 130, 140 yards, whatever it was that he put up on the ground and a couple tugs. Green Bay is going to obviously want to run the football. Now, DeForest Buckner's actually on the injury report, hasn't practiced this week yet, as of yet. He could be something to note there and potentially even bigger hole and making them even softer against the run. So that's something to keep in mind. But I think this clock's going to be running. On the Indianapolis Colts side of thing, yeah, Anthony Richardson in that offense made a lot of highlight plays last week, but very boomer bust type of offense that Indianapolis Colts. Like, let's keep in mind, Indianapolis Anthony Richardson completed 9 passes last week. 9. And like he missed a few deep balls to Adonai Mitchell. He connected on one to Alec Pierce. He connected on one, I think, to maybe Michael Pittman deep. But the point being that there was a couple of wow throws. Obviously, that one super viral one, that one that went viral. But outside of that, it was just very much like either they're scoring or they're off the field. And so with that being said, I actually think Green Bay's defense has a little bit of an advantage in this one because you look at a lot of people are going to look at what they did in Brazil. They're going to say they got tore up by Philadelphia Eagles offense. That's a really good offense. And you're talking about Green Bay was in a tough spot there. They're in Brazil. They're taking on a good offense, and they're a new defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, in his first game. So there's a lot working against Green Bay in Brazil there. Now they're at the confines of their home. They're just a lot of people are going to say, well, they're going up against a dual threat quarterback in Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor. Well, they just saw that in Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, and they did actually a really good job for the most part for about 3.5 quarters of containing that zone read, that read option play. So Green Bay's defense, I'm confident in this spot. Indianapolis offense could definitely, again, boom or bust here, but I'm going to lean toward the bust side of things. And Green Bay's offense, for my money, is just they're going to need some help to put up some points on this game. So confidently taking first half under 20.5. We will shorten the explanations going forward here.
Okay, and our next game is the New York Jets heading to Tennessee here for a day with the Titans, Josh.
Yeah, that Tennessee Titans bet for those that tailed us last week. Wow, that was Brett. I think that was probably the most painful bet that I've ever been a part that I've actually. And you know the thing was, I was watching the Tennessee game with like beside two Titans fans. So like we're all high-fiving and stuff like that, cheering through the first in the first half. They're up 17 to nothing or whatever it was at halftime, right? And then we just slowly but surely watch this bet just absolutely crumble right in front of us. And so I watched that entire game. Will Levis just absolutely killed me in that game. And so now listen, New York Jets defense here is obviously the focal point in this one. They didn't look necessarily like their usual selves in the season opener, but let's keep in mind San Francisco is pretty damn good. So let's give them a little bit of a break there. They were also on the road in Santa Clara. Now they're going back on the road in Tennessee. They're staying a little bit more central, I guess, if you want to call it that. They're traveling more central, and Tennessee is at home in this one. But listen, if Tennessee's offense showed one thing in that game last week, it was that they just are not necessarily there yet, as we thought they might be, as quickly as we thought they might be under Brian Callahan. So I am looking at the Tennessee Titans team total under 19.5 in this one for 2 units. I think New York Jets defense has a bounce back, and I think we see a little bit more of the same from the Tennessee Titans offense, at least for one more week here. So we're going to confidently ride with the Jets defense in this one.
Okay, Josh, we talked about your Green Bay Packers. Now let's talk about my Baltimore Ravens, who are going to be welcoming the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday.
Yeah. Theme in this show, Bryce, so far, we're going to take the under 41.5 for 1 unit in this game. 2 teams that, once again, love to run the football, and they are going to do it a ton. Both also, let's keep in mind, I know that the Raiders are a team that a lot of people were maybe pained by watching last week, but a lot of that pain stemmed from the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, Gardner Minshew is a guy who could maybe keep you half competitive in some games, maybe, possibly, sometimes, depending on the week. But for the most part, this is going to be a pretty tough offense to watch, the Las Vegas Raiders. And that was going up against the Los Angeles Chargers defense that they gained a lot of respect for me, but let's be real, they don't hold a candle to this Baltimore Ravens defense. So Baltimore Ravens are coming, they're at home now after playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And this is going to be a much better effort, I think, from the Baltimore Ravens on the defensive side of the ball. And then on the offensive side of the ball, from Baltimore's perspective, again, they love to run the football. I do think that Mark Andrews is going to be more involved here. So if you're a fantasy player, do not sweat just yet. Isaiah Likely is going to be involved, but I think that I have a ton of respect for the Las Vegas Raiders defense as well. So I don't think necessarily things are going to come as easy to the Baltimore Ravens as people might think that they will. Keep in mind, the Baltimore Ravens offensive line looked a little bit difficult, a little bit tough in that game against the Chiefs, and they are going up against a formidable front here again in the Las Vegas Raiders. So don't think that things are going to come super easy here. I actually took a quick little peek at the Raiders spread when I was going through my watch list because this 9.5 just felt like just a lot of points there. But I opted to go with the under here. I think I think the Las Vegas Raiders offense just really struggles in this one once again, and the Baltimore Ravens offense will do enough to get the job done at home. But I think that this is one I'm pretty comfortable taking the under here. So under 41.5 for 1 unit.
Okay, and our fourth and final best bet for week 2 is going to be an NFC East matchup between the Giants and the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, this one is this is one of those ones, Bryce. You're kind of in a tough spot because you're like, I kind of want to take the Washington Commanders after watching that terrible performance by Daniel Jones at New York Giants offense in this one. But then you remember what the Washington Commanders defense is, and they also just, as of today, recording day, lost Emmanuel Forbes, their cornerback, probably their best cornerback, to a UCL injury in his thumb. So he's going to be out approximately 5-6 weeks. So this is an already bottom tier defense that has now just got a little bit worse. And so the New York Giants, for as bad as they looked last week, I get it, folks. Wow, painful. But this is a really bad defense, and I think that the Giants are going to have some opportunities in this one. On the flip side, I think Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels, didn't really push the ball downfield last week. This offense under Cliff Kingsbury is supposed to be an air raid offense. We just didn't see that last week. But listen, I think that they're going to have more opportunities to push the ball downfield, be a little bit more aggressive. I think Jaden Daniels is going to shine in this one. So with that being said, we have two defenses that I do not mind taking this bet against over 43 points. We are taking that one for 1 unit here to wrap up our week 2 best bets, Bryce. Yeah, let's just, both these teams get into the 20s here. Let's get our money and let's get out.
Okay, and before we close out our show, we hinted at it before. We are going to be featuring a new segment here during our best bet show. It's going to be the TJC Anytime Touchdown Parlay. Josh and I are each going to pick a guy every week and hopefully, climb some units with a guy each that we can see going into the end zone. These are going to be for 1 unit, 1 parlay a week. Maybe we'll throw 2 guys in there if there's 2 guys we like. It's going to be pretty fluid, but it's a way to hopefully take some shots week to week here and bump up the unit counts here. Josh, I'll let you start with your guy,
Okay.
your inaugural touchdown parlay player here.
Yeah, it feels like we don't really like promote parlays very much. We try to be a little bit smarter, and we take our single bets, and we think that is the smart way to build the bankroll and go about business. But listen, we're like anybody. We're just a couple of fellas, and we like to place our fair share of parlay bets, even though we don't advertise them too much. But with that being said, let's advertise this one. We're going to go Amon-Ra, St. Brown, anytime touchdown. And the reason for me is simple here, Bryce. They're going up against a bottom tier Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary that also might be down 3 of their starting secondary defensive backs in this one. So a bad defense that, like I just finished saying with Washington, a bad defense that just got worse. And now you're going to Detroit to play a Lions offense that is going to absolutely have no issue moving the ball downfield in this one. Amon-Ra St. Brown was... it was talked about a ton all this week about how he wasn't really involved last week's game plan. I do not see that happening in consecutive weeks. I think he's going to have ample opportunity to get in the end zone in this one. Let's go Amon-Ra to get in the end zone anytime touchdown. What do you got?
Okay, so I got the guy we actually have in our futures bet for the MVP this year. I'm going Jalen Hurts. The biggest thing for me with Jalen Hurts last week in that game in Brazil is that the Eagles at least showed that the tush push is still in the playbook. Retirement of Jason Kelsey, and that's all I needed. They brought it out, I think 3 or 4 times. Didn't have great success with it. It's probably a point of emphasis in them in practice this week. Also worth noting that field in Brazil was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
We saw Saquon obviously played amazing last week. This is the Monday Nighter Atlanta Falcons. Run defense wasn't terrible, wasn't great against Pittsburgh in week one. But just the fact that the Eagles have shown that this is in there, if they get anywhere remotely close, I expect this to be fully back, and maybe some value there with Hurts line with the fact that it was a little bit unsuccessful. He still ran the ball more than 10 times last week. So
Yeah.
I got Jalen Hurts this. So I'm on a raw St. Brown, Jalen Hurts for 1 unit, paying out just under times 4. So good potential here, Josh, to add to the unit count early. And
What are we
hopefully,
doing here? Are we ripping 1 or 2 units on this? What are we doing?
oh goodness, I mean, I'll leave that up to you. I was just thinking 1 unit, but
Okay,
if you
okay,
want to
yeah.
get crazy,
Let's keep it. Let's keep it 1 unit, and then if we start getting
sure.
on a roll, then we can crank it up a bit. But yeah, let's keep it 1 unit. Keep it conservative for a little bit.
Okay, Josh. So just to recap our anytime touchdown parlay this week, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jalen Hurts for a unit. New York Giants, Washington Commanders over 43 for 1 unit. Raiders and Ravens under 41.5 for 1 unit. Tennessee Titans team total under 19.5 for 2 units. And the Green Bay Packers, Indianapolis Colts first half under 20.5 for 2 units, Josh.
We need to bounce back, Bryce. This is what we needed. And folks, listen. Sunday's going to be a special day, personally, and just hopefully for the fellas, for the TJC faithful here. Okay, another year around the sun for yours truly, Bryce. You're coming up right away after me as well in the next week. So birthdays are coming up for the fellas. Let's make this one special, people. All right, we need a bounce back week. Let's get it done.
All right, that's gonna do it. Everyone wish Josh a happy birthday in the comments on some good mojo.
Okay.
Let's get some units on the board, and yeah, Josh, any closing remarks there?
No, sir. I'm not one to usually flaunt my birthday like that. But this for the TJC faithful, we need some support, people. We need a bounce back week. So let's get it going. We'll take anything we can get.
All right, let's do it, folks. We'll see you next week. Week 3 bets. Let's get back in the green here. Week 2, and we'll see you right here next week, folks. Have a good one.